remedy. Fresh out the pack, strap came with a lemon squeeze. I ain't pressed to have no hoes around me. For damn sure not broke hoes around me. I'm about a bag, little money doesn't wow me. Park the Porsche at the resort.
What's good, everybody? Welcome back to TalkSpicyHER. It's the lit one, Ritzy, and I'm ready to talk my shit.
Okay, you already know who it is. It's Big Memphis. Who we got today?
Your big brother. You want to
What's
be
your
technical?
name?
Twan. Some people know me by Storm.
Storm?
Yeah,
Oh.
Quiet Storm. Just depends on what type of level you know me as. But all in all, I'm her big brother. So at the end of the day, yeah. So
Yes.
Okay. And what are we talking about today?
I guess like Black men trying to strive to do better, like as we get this label of us being incarcerated and being released, trying to get back on our feet and live a positive, productive life, take care of our families and such. So I think that's the subject we'll be on today.
Nice. You feel like you done that?
I'm in the process.
Yeah.
I'm still adjusting to being home and trying to get my... Can we cuss on
Yes.
here? Trying to get my shit together
Talk
and all
spicy,
that.
nigga.
Yeah.
What is you talking about?
Trying to get my shit together and all that. So, so we're going to make the best of it. For sure. Yeah.
So where are you from?
I'm from New York originally. I grew up in Virginia majority of my life. I lived in Wilmington for a short period of time. I just came home from doing a prison bid. I've been home a little over 2 years now. Just finished up school and just living a life of not selling drugs no more.
Right.
To be perfectly short, though.
I feel like that's a hot topic.
It
just,
is.
Just the selling drugs, because I feel like you're still a young man, but like
I am.
I feel like the message for today's episode is kind of speaking to younger men who are kind of feel like they were in the same predicament that you used to be in.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of this younger generation, they're so caught up in social media. These rappers, it starts with the music they listen to. That starts somewhere. So like the music that they listen to, wanting to be something that they're not, because like I've seen some grown men fold under pressure. So like, a lot of these kids of this generation, they just letting social media get the best of them, and it's not really good, healthy if anything. But
So what do you feel like got the best of you? What was your...
My mother passed away at an early age. I think I was probably about 18, 19. So at that particular time, I was still growing, finding myself. At that time when she passed away, I was kind of like a loose cannon, so to speak, if you want to call it that. Got myself into trouble, and I was already in the streets, but like you could say the streets completely took over at that point. So I went to prison, paid my dues, and now I'm home doing everything within my power not to go back to prison.
Just something that you mentioned was you went through something and you reacted a certain way. Do you feel like if during that time you had like help or guidance or a mentor, therapy, something along those lines, do you feel like that would have kind of changed the trajectory of like where you ended up going?
No, because I did a lot of my learning on my own. I learned a lot on my own. Like my pops really wasn't around like that to like, throw the football in the backyard or whatever the case may be. Like my mother was my mom's and my pops for me growing up. Like, that was kind of my both parents, my mom. And when I lost her, like I was really on my own at that point. And so like I said, like I kind of like learned as I grew. Like I learned off my own mistakes, what to do and what not to do. And now, like, I didn't really get no mentor or anybody that I could look to for guidance until I got to prison, actually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, it's a lot of good people that you meet in prison. Like, everybody in prison is not bad. I know they put this narrative, like, if you go to prison, like, you got a bad name on yourself or a label or whatever, but there's some good brothers that you meet while being incarcerated, and, like, you'll still connect with them once you reach the streets or once you're properly released from being incarcerated. So.
Right. I know, like growing up, a lot of people found it like unbelievable that like Antoine got in trouble. Like, I think when we were, because we're the same age, so growing up in high school, when he did get in trouble, because like mind you, Antoine was a star athlete. Like he played football, everybody knew him from sports. So when
Still can play to this day.
yeah, he's still an athlete. And I say former, you know, he's still an athlete. I know he's sensitive. But a lot of people was like looking at you or thinking that like people had one perception of like he's so quiet and all he does is play sports and this and that. It kind of shocked me because I feel like that's when it changed when she died because it was
because
different.
when I lost my mother, I just didn't give a fuck no more.
Like, it was like a shift.
Yeah, that was everything. Like I felt like when my mom's passed away, like I completely started all over. Like I was really on my own at that point. Like some people don't know, but I got a baby brother that's 5 years younger than me. And like, we actually watched our mother like get carried out on the stretcher. And
We
like,
all did.
yeah. And me and my little brother, like, we kind of looked at each other and we like, that's mom. Like, mom's a strong black woman. She gonna be all right. Like, we gonna, like, me and my baby brother, like, we went back to sleep. Like, we watched our mom get carried out on a stretcher to go to the hospital, and me and my brother, like, mom gonna be all right, yo. We'll go check mom in the morning.
Because you were that convinced.
Yeah,
like,
we knew mom was that strong.
Right.
And in the midst of that, we went to sleep for a couple more hours, and we woke up, and it was like, mom gone.
World fucking.
Like,
Yeah, mom. We was
Shattered
like, mom,
type
yeah,
shit,
hell
like-
yeah. And me and my little brother, we looked at each other, we was like, you know, we was shocked. Like, we would have never expected that, like, in a million years. So that kind of like definitely caught us off guard.
yeah, because everything was fine.
Mhm.
Like everything was fine that night.
Yeah.
Even she was just like her legs was hurting, but
Yeah.
she was good.
She was her
like,
regular self.
Yeah.
Like, if anybody know that they ever met my mother, she was a heavy weed smoker. So like,
yeah,
she was very a heavy
The
weed
natural
smoker.
healer.
Yeah, the natural healer. Yeah. So
yeah.
so my mom was like, you know, I cooked you dinner or whatever. It was her same regular routine, like sitting in the living room watching her little shows that she watched, and she was regular. And then she woke up, you know, kind of in pain, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And me and my little brother, we looked at each other like, man, mom good, yo.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we
Was
woke
it like
up.
a blood clot?
No, she had a heart attack.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
she had a heart attack.
Wow.
But she was saying she had chest pains and thought it was normal. Like how the ambulance came, like you said, we all lived together.
Yeah.
It's how many of us in one house? We're all
we
in
was
one
overcrowded.
room.
Yeah.
We slept.
We
in
was
the same
we was definitely head to foot in the bed.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
for
was all
sure.
head to foot. Yeah, like
But-
share the bed, share the blanket, whatever y'all gonna do. But
Yeah.
we all got to sleep in here together, type shit. So
Yeah.
What happened after that? Once it was known that mom passed away, like what happened? What was the situation from there?
it was on after that point. It was a loose cannon. Like, you can't tell me shit. Like,
Who else was there, like, to
As
be
far as-
part of, like, watching the underage children? Like, y'all.
Ain't nobody. Everybody on their own now.
We all basically.
Mom was the
Everybody-
structure. She
we
was
all
a
went-
she
yeah.
was the structure of the
That was
family.
it.
She's the one that held everything together. It's like when she passed away.
Like the house, like
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah,
Everything
yeah.
fell
Everything.
apart. Like,
Yeah. So prior to that, the house caught on fire. So we were living with someone else.
Yeah.
okay.
So while
Probably like
we were
a couple
living,
weeks
Yes.
beforehand. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so while that happened, while we were living with someone else, she passed away. So we
Yeah.
the structure never came back together.
Mm-hmm.
Mind you, she's the one that got up. I went to North. They went to Harder. She took us all to school. Like we got up, we got in the car. She dropped us all off, and so we didn't have structure after that. So that we all kind of dispersed separately.
Yeah, everybody was on their
Who
own.
were y'all
after that.
living with?
It was so
A friend of hers.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
a friend of hers. A
friend of hers.
long time
And my
friend of hers.
older
Yeah,
brother.
Yeah. So
Okay.
like the person that we was living with, we moved in with, is like, you know, we know your mom, she's not gonna take long to get her shit together.
Yeah.
So like y'all can crash here for a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that transition, like she passed away. So mom was like, well, she's not here. So what now? Now everybody kind of
Like,
looking at
we
each other.
like,
What do we do?
now?
Yeah,
We
what
didn't
do
know
we
what
do
to
now?
do.
Yeah.
We
And there was
weeks
no
out from
direction
birth.
from there.
No, hell
No,
no.
my brother. So my oldest brother and Antoine's mom were together for years. So I'm thinking he's like gonna take care of me, but it didn't go like that.
Yeah.
We kind of just was kind of left out there.
And see, remember the episode where we were talking
Yeah.
about what your situation?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I didn't understand it. Now
Yeah,
it
yeah,
makes
yeah.
more sense. Of now it
Right,
makes a lot of
because
sense.
technically, if you want to get technical,
Wow.
Mom B is my sister and Antoine is my nephew, but we are too close in age for him to ever call me auntie.
I'm older than her.
What's
Yeah,
good?
yeah, I'm older than her. So
Older than
like,
me.
how does that look like
Yeah,
calling her
that's
auntie?
just
Like,
weird. It happens a
yeah,
lot.
that
So,
definitely
like,
don't work like
we
that
always
at all.
said
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
That's
we've never-
crazy.
We're not gonna go there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I will never forget
Yeah.
that. Nigga.
Yeah.
Just so y'all know.
Yeah.
Definitely a weird dynamic. So
Yeah.
people are like, well, how are y'all? But that's your listen.
No.
Don't even worry about it.
That's
'Cause
good.
everybody thought
It
that
don't
was
sound right, but it's right. Yeah, it don't sound right, but it's there. Yeah, like
Yeah. But she's always been my mom. She is my
Okay.
mom's age, so she was always kind of that person.
So traumatic thing happened. You changed your life. What caused you to get caught up? I feel like you could talk about that because it's already.
what caused me to get caught up?
Yeah, like what happened?
Like
what
the
was
very
the
first incident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got in trouble. I had to fight a murder case. That was my first incident. Was she got
And what?
Yes.
Okay.
I still did my time for it because like you don't really just get a scot-free
Right,
away,
right.
but you're gonna have to do some
Right.
type of time for it. But
Right.
I did it the correct way, waited it out, and fought the case to the best of my ability. You know, hiring private attorneys and stuff, and you know the base case scenario. And yes, I overall beat the case. Wasn't done there. I actually I beat the case, did my time for it, and came home, and I was still living incorrectly, if you want to call it that.
Unstably.
Yeah, unstably. Yeah. And I caught myself another charge, and this time, like the second go around, like I did more time, and it really
Is that off of your most recent?
yes,
Okay.
yes, and
Okay.
they made me do 8 years for drug trafficking. In the midst of that, like I knew at that point I didn't want to keep going back to prison, so I started finding classes to take and to better my time. Like basically, you know, a guy that does prison, like you either can do the time or you can let the time do you. It's one or the other. You can't do both. And depending on the type of state of mind that you have and the mind state that you have, as far as like when you go to prison, like you either could like try to keep up with what's going on in the streets, or you could, you know, use that time out to better yourself and take courses and trades and stuff to better yourself overall as an individual. So, you know, things like that, like people really can change their life around in prison. Like that excuse that people got, oh, I've been locked up, like that's really like a false narrative.
See, and I always
It's a false narrative.
that
So, yeah.
always makes me so curious because I know it like rehabilitation. That's the point in prison, is to rehabilitate yourself. But a lot of people don't come back rehabilitated. They come back institutionalized. Like they don't really conform or whatever you want to call it and like change their lives, turn it around, take advantage of the opportunities that are there.
Right.
So like you just feel like you took advantage of what was.
Yeah, I
in
had
front of
to.
you.
I had to, because at that same time where I had just caught my case, like I had my first child, my daughter. I missed everything. I missed her birth, or missed her first words, her first steps, and I just knew that it wasn't something that I wanted to continue to keep doing. So like when I had my daughter, that's when I manned up and got to my grown man stage. Like
You would say that's like your biggest, like your biggest push, your biggest motivation was.
because I didn't want my daughter to grow up with her dad going in and out of prison. I wasn't for my daughter coming up to the prison to come visit me and stuff like that, but I just knew, like, I mean, I spoke to her, checked up on her while I did my sentence, but I knew once I got released, like, I was going to take these trades inside of prison and better myself, so I know I wasn't going back to prison once I got released.
Does she remember like anything, like, because how old was she when you?
She wasn't even
She was pregnant, right?
Yeah, she was pregnant, and I actually took a picture with her when I was incarcerated, and she thinks
As
that
a baby? Like
yes, and she thinks I was at work at the time.
Still now.
Yeah, still to this day. Still to this day.
It's either he's at work or,
Or like at
Yeah.
camp or a
school.
job.
Yeah.
He's away. Like that,
I just
yeah.
I just went away again. Like since I've been home, I went off to take this school that I wanted to take, and when she
Legitimate
Yeah.
school. by
yeah,
the way.
legitimate.
Real
Yeah,
cool.
not no government funded
Yeah,
vacation or
yeah.
anything like
We'll
that.
get to
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
but-
we'll get to that. But yeah, I went off to school, and she used to like, "What you doing?" I used to tell her, working or I'm in school, and she used to call and tell me like, "Dad, you do your homework or you making good grades or stuff like
Aw.
that." So like, yeah, and at the end of the day, that gave me my strength to go ahead and push through and achieve this goal that I'm trying to make. So.
Yeah, I always say it's up to the individual. Like when it comes to that time, a lot of guys don't take advantage of like those trades or the GEDs or the CDLs, and you can't make them.
I got my GED in prison
Yeah.
too.
I know.
Yeah, I got my GED in prison too. Yeah, it's a mind thing. Like some guys, I ain't gonna like, some guys they want to get high on K2 and smoke tobacco and stuff like that, and them usually be the ones that go right back. Once they get released, they usually the ones that go right back to prison. So.
And it's crazy because it's like no matter how long they did, it's like they still didn't learn their lesson.
Because all they at the end of the day, all they really worried about is they get 3 meals a day and they got somewhere to sleep for the night.
Yeah.
So
3 hots in a cot.
yeah, 3 hots in a cot. Yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Fun fact:
yeah,
me and Antoine were in prison together.
yeah,
For a
yeah,
short period of time.
Yeah.
When I was working,
I was about to say elaborate.
when I was
Please
working,
elaborate.
and it was hilarious.
Yeah.
So he would call sporadically, and I
Yeah.
was trying to tell. I never
Yeah.
got to tell him that I was transferring to the prison that he was at.
Yeah, that
when
was
I-
crazy.
We just looked at each other and died laughing.
Yeah, like to make a long story short, she had her son while I was in prison too. So I didn't meet my nephew until I got released, and I met a guy, and he was like, I knew she at one point in time she was a CO at a particular facility, and a guy that came from this facility that she was working at, he's like, he just came here, and I'm like, oh yeah, that my little sister worked there, and he's like, oh, she pregnant. He's like, yeah, she pregnant. I was like, yo, who got next on the phone? Yo, I gotta make a phone call. Yeah, I gotta have a phone call right here. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I had So I was immediately next in line for the phones. I'm like, yeah, I gotta call the phone real quick. So I call her and she's like, yeah, I wanted to tell you, but you don't call home like that. So I'm like, what the hell? Like,
That's crazy.
It was.
Yeah.
So when we got there, they like, of course, they like, do you know anybody? I'm like, well, actually, my brother's here. So I put it on paper. They were like, oh, he don't get in trouble. Like, I don't think he's ever had an infraction.
yeah, that was it. Was to make a long story short, when she came to the prison that I was at, I was on the short end of my
Way
sentence.
short.
Yeah, I was finishing up my sentence. I was down to like 12 months or less or something like that. And they let my sister, she was a case manager at the time, and I used to see her and like
That
and
has to
and
be
I like
fucking
I remember the first
was.
time I was going to the barbershop. My barber, yeah, my barber, yeah. I go see my barber, and she was in the case manager office. I was like, I didn't know if she told him or not. Like we was family, so I'm like, so I act like I didn't even know who she was. I was like, yo, I can't believe this shit.
Standing there?
I was
Yeah.
like, you can speak.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, you can sleep. I told him already. I was like, oh, all right, yeah,
Weird.
yeah,
That
it
must be a
was,
crazy
it
Because
was.
it was like, I wanted to talk to him, but like
Yeah.
at the
You
same time, you
can't.
know,
Because
you
other
can't spend
inmates,
too
they'll
much
get in their
time.
feelings like, yeah, they start
Even though
spreading
that's my
rumors.
brother.
Or
Yeah.
now they gonna think you're soft.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah.
Yeah, so-
But he got
Damn.
released like 2 months.
Yeah,
we
probably
didn't,
like-
we
yeah.
didn't get to
Yeah.
chill.
I didn't get to kicking it on me.
Yeah.
All we did was laugh at each other across the yard.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
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 I'd be
That's crazy.
"Man,
Yeah, we used to
inside
see each other when she come into work. She'd be like, hey, what's up, bro? I'm like, man, this shit crazy as hell. I can't believe this shit. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
funny.
yeah. But it only lasted for a couple months. But yeah, we it was definitely, it's something of the many things that we can put down in our journal for our,
sure.
yeah,
That
yeah,
most
things that,
people
yeah,
won't be able to
yeah,
do.
Nope.
yeah, definitely. for sure.
This was my CO, bro.
Yeah, I was a case manager.
Case manager.
Thank you.
Whatever.
She used to come in our block and have to do head count sometimes. I was like, man, I wish the fuck I would get on my bed for head count. Yo, my sister head
like,
count.
what you
too.
did?
I would have been like, get the fuck up.
Like, oh, look, yo, getting on the bed, yo. She talking about, yeah, it's time for head count. Man, my sister in here doing this head count. Man, I can't believe this shit.
Giggling. You know I'm giggling.
I still can't believe that you like. There's no way.
It's hilarious.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy.
10 years.
Yeah, it was
Crazy.
I did 10 years. That's stupid.
That's
Voluntarily.
Hey,
and didn't run into her the whole time until the
Nope.
end of my sentence.
Right.
At the very end, like I was down to my last 12 months,
Mhm.
like I said, and she finally want to come up here and like.
Yeah, I never wanted to go to minimum custody because they're too free, if that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, because they're out
Yeah.
and about.
Yeah.
and I'm used to like, you have to get permission to come and speak to me. Like, someone's gonna call you out for you to come. They're just walking in your office like, yo, what's good? I just got off work. Like, when my release date? I'm like,
Yeah.
who sent you here? So
And not
it was
only
a
that,
lot.
like,
Get back.
like I've done prison time before, so I know how it is. But
Yeah.
you know, when inmates see a female CO come on the yard or a case manager, like, you know, eyes is on
Right.
that new one that's on the yard. So in this particular instance, they're like, yo, y'all see the big yellow thing that just walked on? I'm hearing it. I'm like, man.
You always
Yeah. I'm saying
I
tell
had
this
no
man, like,
problem
man.
telling
Yo,
Sean is my brother. I did
I'm
not
like,
care.
man,
The
because I
administration-
can't say
yeah.
number
Like
so
you
much.
You
I
said
can-
it going in.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. So she's good on her end, but
Right.
I'm not knowing on my end. So
Yeah.
I got these other inmates that I got to hear, like, yo, the new yellow thing, Miss McCoy. And I'm like, man. I'm see right now, yo, we gonna have to get at it. Because, you know, any big brother ain't gonna allow anybody just to make, you know,
Right.
Yeah.
remarks about their younger
Mhm,
sister. So I'm like,
absolutely.
Yeah,
yeah, I ain't going for it.
I wish he
Yeah,
could've stayed.
I ain't going for it. Yeah,
I
yeah.
wish he could have stayed. I'm like,
They started acting up as soon as he left.
I know. Once they knew that was my brother, it was like, man, they wouldn't even look my way. This man gone. I'm like, look at this.
Yeah.
Then letters.
Yeah.
Who
now,
let the dog
so now
go?
I'm calling her to check up on her and make sure she's all right at school. She's like, oh, such and such. I'm like, oh, yeah, he trying to give me a hard time. I'm like, damn, do I need to climb back over the fence or something? Yeah, but yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
Yeah.
So what all did you get? What trades did you get while you were?
Incarcerated?
Yeah.
I took a welding course, topside welding. It was a year-long class.
Did you say top
Yeah, topside, like
side?
yeah, being in the
welding?
shop. Yeah, being in the
Okay.
shop or something like
Okay.
that. Another man that's in the audience. That's where we met at. He was taking electrical wiring class. So they do offer
Great
classes.
trades.
Yeah,
Both
yeah.
Those are great trades.
They offer courses to where you want to better yourself. But a lot of guys, like, they want to know what their baby mama's doing out there in the streets and stuff like that. They ain't trying to better themselves. They want to know, you know, yo, send me pictures. Y'all was in the club popping bottles. Yo, send me pictures. You know, this, that, and the third. And you know, right there, off that mindset, like, people be on the wrong path. So like, they trying to keep up with what's going out in the streets instead of using your time to, you know, better yourself.
Something you actually have control over.
Exactly.
Like,
So being that I was in prison, like, I couldn't have nobody come visit me but her. But being that she was in her situation, she could never be on my visitation list to come visit me. Or
you
anything.
couldn't, or you didn't want that.
I mean, both, but she couldn't. Like,
no, I'm just saying people in general. They couldn't, or you didn't want. them
well,
to go.
majority of all my
Yeah.
family was out of state anyway. It wasn't
Okay.
none of my family
Okay.
around anyway. The only family that I had where I was doing my prison sentence was her, and she couldn't come visit me because her situation. So I didn't have no family, so I wasn't getting visits on the weekends and stuff like that. And so for me personally, it didn't really matter what prison that I was at. Like, any prison that you put me at, I'm good. Like, so in one incident, I signed up to take a welding course. I took the welding course. It was a year-long course, and I learned how to weld and, you know, just certain trades to keep myself from coming back to prison. And one of the instructors, he kind of like gave me a pointer, and that's where it got me to where I'm at today, and took the underwater welding course.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's a
Underwater welding. First of all, I had never heard of
Yeah.
that until.
crazy.
Yeah.
It's dangerous,
Yeah,
man. Like, when I see your videos, I'm like, are you safe?
Underwater welding is
Do you have to sign anything before you do this? Like, hey, if you die, it's not our fault.
well, they teach you things to keep yourself from getting to that point. Like, they really teach you, like, how to prevent yourself from hurting yourself, or, you know, if anything was to go wrong, this is how you should react. Like, they send us those through those type of drills, like through training. Like, so if anything unexpectedly happens, this is how you react. So it's just a matter of learning and adapting and not making those mistakes to put yourself in that type of situation.
Have you heard like horror stories of something that happened before you got in that field? Like they ever told you like anything that happened with someone else that like might have freaked you out?
I think the worst horror story that I heard about underwater welding, I heard that another diver was fighting off a shark with a tape measure, using the tape measure. Like he was poking. Yeah, he did. He won. He won actually.
All you gotta do is hit him in the nose.
Yeah, that's like the soft point. Yeah, that's the soft point. I mean, a lot of people might not notice, but sharks don't really bother human beings too much. Sharks and killer whales, they don't really bother humans too much. A lot of people don't know that though. But
you seen any of those down there?
Yeah, I mean, and they don't.
Did you get a selfie?
Nah, I didn't. I did the one time that I seen a shark. I didn't have my GoPro with me that one
But
time.
you would have.
Yeah.
You would have.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would have. Absolutely.
Crazy.
I would have tried to pet him and everything. Yeah, but sharks they don't bother humans too much. Like not like everybody say it. Like I know all culture as far as black people and stuff, we don't really know how to swim or anything like that. Which is we should start.
Whose fault is that?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
We should change that narrative as far as about our community, because like as far as our community, we love to go to the beach and be on cruises, taking pictures by the water and stuff like that. So we should really like change that narrative. Yeah.
Right, 10.
Yeah.
Don't take the goddamn.
I
have
love
ankle
to swim.
Yeah.
What?
I grew up in a project, so we went to the pool faithfully.
But you also hear a lot of like people, you know, they say like, oh, I don't mess with no water, like I don't do no water.
They do,
yeah,
which is crazy. But
why is that?
But they'll
why you don't mess with water. They'll
yeah,
figure a lot of
shit out.
But they'll go by the water, go take pictures for Instagram or Facebook or something like that. Yeah, holding up the bottles and drinks and all that, but you can't swim worth the licks. So yeah, so you should.
There's no way.
Yeah, you should tap into that.
So what you want to do? Okay, now you got your certification. Like, what's next? What you want to do?
Hold on. Let me ask you. How easy was it for you? So you got out and then you went to school. How easy was that transition from prison to school?
Actually, I found out about underwater welding through my instructor while I was in prison. Wes, my big guy Wes. He was my welding instructor that taught me how to weld, and he's
shout out to Wes.
Yeah, big shout out to Wes.
Shout out to Wes.
He taught me how to weld, and he's like, yo, you pick up on welding, pretty fast. He's like, you should look into doing underwater welding. I was like, yo, they have that? He's like, yeah. He's like, you claustrophobic? And I was like, no. He's like, can you swim? I was like, hell yeah, like a fish. And he's like, yo, you should really look into it when you get out of prison. Like that'd be a good feel for you, and you can make big coins with that shit. So I was like,
that's crazy.
Once I got released, my PO, she was like, I was like, yo, I want to go take this class, and she was like, no. Like, what you mean no? Like I'm trying to like better myself. Like, what you mean no? She's like, you just did a nice amount of time, and you fresh home, and you don't have no family over there. I'm not sending you over there by yourself.
No.
I was like, so I'm telling her like, yo, so you saying I can't go? She's like, you can go when you get off parole. You ain't going right now. I ain't transferring you over there by yourself right now. And she was like, when you get off though, you can go.
And she stood on that? She didn't let you go?
She stood on it. I had to finish out my parole. She put me on.
Put
me on house arrest and everything just to make sure I wouldn't go.
For how long?
9 months, 12?
Like 6 months, something like that.
Does it?
Yeah, cause I wasn't doing nothing, and she was like, "Well, you meet your curfew and she let me go early. Yeah, she did, but she violated my parole and everything because she thought I was she thought I was gonna try to go over there and go take the class. She's like, I like the idea, but you just ain't going under my watch.
That's wild.
She was trying to look out for you, but at the same time, she didn't know who you were. So
I mean, she did let me get she let me get away with a lot, but at the end of the day, like you could have let me go take that class to go better myself, but she was like, nah, I ain't transferring you. Like, I don't care what you say, you gonna wait. These, you know what I'm saying? These,
I guess I get it. It's her job,
So I was like, whatever. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that what she said?
So, but soon as they release me, like soon as
Good
they let
for
me,
you to still stick with it
Yeah.
and know your finish line and where you were going and to stand on it. You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like,
a
'cause
mind
lot of
thing.
people
Like
just be
yeah,
talking.
that's a mind thing. That's a mind thing at the end of the day.
Good
'Cause
for
like
you.
And mind you, you worked like how many years of your bid were you on work release?
My last 2.5 years.
Which is
I think
a
like my
regular
last
job.
30 months. My last 30
What'd you do?
months.
I'm just curious.
Huh?
What'd you do?
As far as
when you were
Your
on
work release.
oh, I was welding. I was actually welding. After
That's
I took the welding course to, get the trade under my belt, like I had got a welding job as a prison inmate, working the actual 40 hours a week and going outside the gate and,
Yeah.
working
And
my
I
job.
think I'm just gonna say this because I guess I've heard it from other people. Like they let the amount or whatever they're bringing in discourage them from you.
Yeah, but
But it's the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Like think about what your goal fucking is. I don't give a fuck if you're getting a
That's
fraction
true.
of this pay.
they're getting
So
real
what if
money.
you're making? But it's still less than what
They
right?
Some of them was making
Right?
more than me or the same amount as me. Do you feel
yeah.
comfortable telling them how much you got released with?
No, on work release.
On
You
work
don't have to
release.
say it. I
Only
just
if you're comfortable because
Yeah.
they were making. He was.
I
Making
went home
good
with a
money.
couple dollars.
No, I'm talking about when you were in
I know
jail.
that check
When you were in
price.
or when you were in
Yeah,
jail.
in prison.
Yeah,
Oh.
like
They can only
if you
swipe so
like
much, so they
you
would
only can
say-
swipe so much
Yeah.
off your card to go to the commissary store or whatever, and whatever else that you don't spend, they put it in a trust fund account for when you
Yeah.
get released from prison.
Oh.
So
Oh,
like
okay. I didn't
once
know
you
that.
working and you stacking your little bit of coins and stuff, you have the potential to go home with a couple of dollars in your pocket.
Okay.
Right?
Hey, brother!
And
I got a nephew now.
and being that she was
I
a
know
case
that.
manager, being that she's a case manager, she can pull
Oh,
it
I
up.
saw
and-
that amount. I
Yeah,
was
she
like,
can see how much was in my account.
I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
this ain't it. This ain't
Yeah,
it.
So
I was
so
shocked.
she really had an inside scoop. So
I could
that's
not believe
funny.
it.
yeah,
you know.
I mean, a lot of guys other inmates, they be like, yeah, you been out there working. Yeah, I know you got some in your account. Be like, mind your business, yo.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
right.
that ain't none of your
Yeah,
business.
for
But
sure.
her, she know because like
Yeah, she.
yeah.
I couldn't believe it. You know, I'm checking up
Yeah,
on him. Like, Let
yeah.
me see.
Yeah.
It's boring because he don't
Yeah.
get in trouble. He don't do nothing.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing to read about.
Yeah. So when I get home, so now when I'm home and because
Oh yeah.
I want to say you was working that day that I walked out of yeah.
Birdman.
Yeah.
I was like, well.
Yeah. So
What do we have here?
When that clear.
yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think like when I got released, I got released during the COVID pandemic when it hit. So I actually went home a couple months early, being that I was a nonviolent offender where I had drug charges, and they let me go home a couple months early than what I was scheduled to be released on. And I want to say not that night. I want to say that like the very next day I heard from her. She's like, "What you doing?" Like, what you doing?
It's me you're looking for.
Yeah. What you doing? Nothing, chilling.
He
Yeah,
would not tell me. I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, I know. I just want you to say it.
yeah.
It's the big
He's just very mysterious and sly.
I think that comes from like I got locked up for drug trafficking, so
Yeah.
like
Definitely low.
I was actually when I say drug trafficking, like I really got jammed up on the interstate driving down the highway,
yeah.
like got pulled over, like got the car searched, they took everything, and like nobody like and I just got out, and I was in like, not to say no disrespect, I was like in a redneck town too, like hillbilly, so like it was my word versus like 4 hillbilly cops, and you know
it's over with.
my skin color, I don't stand a
Throw 'em
chance.
in and
Yeah,
throw 'em under.
I don't stand a
Fuck is you
chance. So it's
talking
like when I got locked up, didn't nobody even got locked up. Probably about 4 or 5 days later, I had already been gone like almost a week before anybody really started finding out.
That's crazy.
And I think that like far as like telling people my whereabouts, like
Yeah.
I go back to thinking about my freedom and stuff like that. So it's
Called
like
PTSD.
yeah. So
motherfucker.
like. So people be like, Twan, where you at? I'm like, man, mind your business, y'all. I get there when I get there. I get there when I get there. Yeah.
Crazy.
No,
When you gonna be
it
here?
makes
Like,
sense.
yeah,
That makes
yeah.
sense.
So
Like,
I don't,
you gotta learn.
yeah.
you
So
know,
when I'm
take-
traveling, when I'm flying on the airplane or driving in the car or whatever the case may be, I don't tell nobody where I'm going. I really don't. Yeah, it's just I feel like even though I don't even sell drugs no more, but like I feel like that's for my own safety.
No,
so yeah,
'cause
so
I don't know what the fuck you got going on.
Yeah.
I don't know
That's
what
what-
the fuck anybody
Yeah.
else got going
I
on.
don't need
around
nobody,
Me.
yeah.
I'm just no.
I like to sit like if I ever have to, I'd rather sit in the interrogation room by myself. Like I don't
real.
I don't believe in having no co-defendants or nothing like that.
That's
So
very true.
yeah, so when I go places, I'm by myself. Like
So you
like that's not to cut you off,
No,
but
you good.
like even
Go
coming
ahead.
down here to come to the show, I'm like, yo, where you at? She like, man, are you here? I'm like, man, where you at, yo?
Like, I hate it.
Yeah,
They
she,
don't
I
tell
won't
me
even tell my
nothing.
own sister. Like,
For
she
real.
like, where you at, Torn? I'm like, man, where you at? Like, she like, I'm at work. She like, I'm at work. I get off at 6:30. I was like, all right, call me when you get off. I don't even tell her where I'm
Yeah.
going or
I'm
what
not gonna call
time
you
I'm
unless
supposed
you
to
What
be.
you doing? Where you
Yeah,
at?
yeah.
You
I don't even
lit?
tell her.
That's
So
I
it's
hear a knock at
I'm
the
on the
door
way.
at 3
You
a.m.
nigga?
Yeah.
No, I ain't
Yeah.
answering.
yeah. So
That's exactly what I said. I was like, I'm not going to pick up because why won't you tell me?
yeah.
And
You like
Yeah.
of all people.
no, he
Yeah.
won't.
But I get
Yeah.
So much like I never
That's not
let
even
this
get.
man
That's
back
just
on
like
the-
my own. I guess when you was talking about institutionalized earlier, like I guess that's like my own like institutionalized thing. Like
Which
I don't
ain't a
tell
bad
people.
one. That's not a
Yeah,
bad one.
yeah.
That's
I don't
okay.
tell people where I'm going or what time I'm going to be there or anything like that. I
There's
just
levels to this institution.
yeah. So I get there when I get there. If I say I'm coming, I'm on the way. That's final. Like if I say I'm coming, I'm on the way. I'll be there. Like you should take my word as that. I'll be there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So for real, because I don't like that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Wait.
No, I'm like, come on, bro. Anyway, so what do you feel like? Do you feel like you're accomplished now? Like, do you feel like, okay, like you've hit a point where you feel good about what you're doing and you're like Mom, I made it. Like I did it.
I'm still going. I'm still going. I ain't even there yet. I ain't even comfortable with myself yet.
If you had to explain this time in your life, what would you say? Like, where do you feel like you're at? How long has it been since you got off
been
parole?
home 2.5 years now. Not even the full 3 years yet.
Okay.
I've been off parole a little over a full year. But as far as like the things that I want to accomplish and stuff like that, I'm still striving.
And you just graduated from school?
Yep.
When?
March 9th.
Clap it up.
Not even 30 days ago.
Just check your fucking watch.
Yeah. Not even 30 days. Yeah.
Hold on, nigga.
Yeah, not even 30 days ago. I went to school for the underwater welding.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What does that salary hold?
I'm
just
No,
curious.
if you Google it. Matter of fact, just Google it. Google it. Just
I
Google
don't
it.
know.
You make 6 figures doing
Okay.
underwater welding. You make 6 figures.
So regular
Okay.
welding versus underwater, like what is regular welding like? Is that a big jump?
It is,
It
because
is.
I mean underwater welding, like I said, like not only that, but a lot of people don't know how to swim. A lot of people don't know how to work underwater, let alone work topside in a shop. But to do that same type of work underwater, and you don't breathe on your own air when you're underwater. Like you got to rely
Welding
on.
is already
Definitely
a great
panic.
trade to be in.
Yeah, so
In the regular air
Yeah.
and all the atmosphere. Like for you to
But
gotta be
doing
engulfed
it underwater.
in some H2O.
yeah, doing it underwater is definitely
Do the
different.
math.
Yeah, it's
What's the longest you can stand in there?
It depends on the type of oxygen that you have in your bottle, but the longest I've been under the water myself, I've done 8 hours straight.
No,
Yeah, I did
you
8
never
hours straight.
freaked out like, oh shoot, my air's running low. You have.
No, I ain't.
You get used to it, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I did 8 hours straight. They gotta put you in a chamber once you come up from water to get your, all the nitrogen gases that you breathe in while you're under the water to get it out your system.
The movies be telling
Is
y'all
it a
some
health
shit
risk?
Not if you take care of your body. A lot of people. It depends. Like if you out here doing drugs and not taking care of your body, it can be tough on your body for sure. But if you take care of yourself and get your proper rest and everything like that, no, it ain't. It's not tough on your body at all.
So I know you've taken the course and they suit you and boot you to go like down deep, whatever. Have you taken like a course where, because I know that like deep diving, like free suit is a thing, like where they teach you and train you to hold your breath for like 3 minutes, by deep diving by yourself. Have you done that? Like with no suit, no extra, like, hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, because we mostly dive under the hat. Like we, I don't know if you ever seen it, but we got the
Like
helmet.
astronaut.
Yeah, we got
It's
the
like
helmet.
what
Yeah,
you see on.
and we got
Yeah.
communications in our helmet. Like we can hear people on the top side with our helmets on. So like once you get low on your air and stuff like that, like they tell you like, yo, you know, divers such and such, you getting low. Like even like you can overbreathe your hat sometimes while you're in the water, and they'll tell you like sit down, take a break, and like you can sit down underwater and just like just chill for a few minutes. Just to,
Would you do that?
Yeah,
Like,
I've done it all the time.
well, like the free diving. I'm talking about
I
the
done
free
took naps
diving.
underwater.
Like the free diving
Took
where you
naps?
don't
Yeah, I
have
done took
any.
naps underwater. Yeah, absolutely.
nap?
Yeah, I done took a nap. I done took a 20-minute
Are you
break.
in a cage though?
Nah, you walking around like under your own power. Like
So look,
Sorry.
I know this is not even closely compared to what the fuck you did, but
Whales.
so this weekend I did a virtual reality thing. Right,
I love
it has the
It's my
glasses,
favorite.
also consumes your ears. So now you're like in it, whatever. All your senses gone. Cool. The beginning, you're just in like this white room, and I couldn't fucking handle it. Like I was about to like freak out and like I had to just take my glass. Even I can feel that but I'm not.
It's so real.
What's
though.
crazy? I was fine once the game started and we were in there because now I'm used to it, like going crazy. I'm having a great time. But in the beginning, where it was just like nothingness, and I couldn't. So I can't imagine fucking being under real water, under like, and you can't. You gotta.
and you know
control
what?
your brain
What
to not
a
freak
lot of
out.
people don't know is about being
Fuck.
underwater. Like once you underwater, if you do panic, like you can't just shoot up straight to the surface like that. You can kill yourself like that. So like you really gotta remain calm and like really like take your time getting back up to the water. Like you can't. Oh my God, it's time to go. Like you can't just bolt because like all the nitrogen gases that you're inhaling.
Feet underneath.
Yeah, you can't because like you got a better chance of killing yourself just shooting back to the surface versus like you taking
Listening
your
to the
little
process.
doing your decompression steps going
That's what
back
it's
up to
called.
the
And when you come up, that's what it's called, decompression.
yeah, it's called decompression. Yeah, like you continue to breathe normally, but you're getting all the nitrogen out your system as you're going back up to surface, and that's the only way to
In
do
12
it.
months of training, like now you done it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind learning. So like, if I have somebody that's willing to teach me going forward, like I'm not one of those guys that say I know everything or I know it all. Like I don't mind listening and learning more each and every day, or somebody's trying to teach me something. But yeah, I enjoy being in the water. I love it. The longest I've been in the water is 8 hours, and the deepest that I ever went is 170 feet.
That's crazy.
Black. It's all
Yeah,
black.
it's all black. It's all black. You can't even see your own hand in front of your face.
Oh my God.
Pitch black. Yeah, it's pitch black under there.
That's crazy.
Sometimes you might hear noises and you might not know what it is. And
Sidebar.
I'm good.
What do you think? You know, like, what is it? 80% of the ocean, is it?
as far as the water that covers the world, it's like 80% or something like that. Yeah.
What do you feel like? What do you think's down there? Because most people go.
What do I think that's in the water?
10 feet, maybe 12, maybe 16 on a good day. But to go 150 feet into the middle of the ocean, like.
Yeah. Whatever I run into is what I want. May the best man win. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, may the best man win. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you never know. Like, killer whales, they don't bother humans. Dolphins, they don't bother humans. Sharks, they'll come up to you to see what you are. They make sure that you're not food or anything like that.
What if you bleeding?
They'll attack you.
Okay.
They'll attack you. That's why they say don't pet sharks or anything like that, because their skin is so rough. Like if you bump up against them, like it could break you could bleed. You can break the skin on your own self. So yeah, so
because I'm a goofy that would have.
But yeah, a shark, he'll come up to you, like he might swim around you just to see what you are. He might think you some food or something like that. Don't touch it. Don't reach out to him, or don't panic and try to swim away from him or something like that, because he might think you're a fish or something. He might, lunchtime or whatever.
Like this.
Yeah, so then you really late. So
you gotta be the right type of person for that job, though. Like,
you do. Like if you have any claustrophobic or anything like that, you can't swim, or if you panic and you don't know how to control yourself or your emotions or anything like that, it's not for you.
What do you think your mom would say about you doing that? She'd be worried.
She tell me I'm crazy as hell.
Yeah,
She Twan, you crazy as hell. Cause she didn't mess with waters. Like she didn't do no swimming or anything like that. Like I learned how to swim like far as going to the hood pool and getting pushed in the deep end and swimming to the edge. You know, like I never took swimming classes or anything like that. So I kind of
jump in the pool.
Yeah, so and she used to tell us like you get in the water, you're on your own. Like you know where you going.
Mama,
Yeah. I mean, I might stand right here and call for help for you, but I'm not getting in there with you. Yeah, so
right.
Yeah, so that's the type of money.
Two of us.
Yeah, somebody got to live to tell us about the story. So she's like, Twan, I'm not coming to get you. Like, so if you don't know what you're doing, like,
yeah,
I mean,
don't do it.
I call somebody over here to come get you or something, but I can't get in there. I can't do nothing with you. So I learned that stuff on my own.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah.
So now that you graduated, what's next? Where you at? What's going
Time to
on?
go to work. Taking a little break. Just graduated. I got some little things lined up next week. Actually, I got to go to some appointments and interviews next week. I ain't trying to be just anywhere. That Florida region, you know, they got gators and stuff like that. I ain't going down there in Florida. No, absolutely not.
We got them in Greenfield.
Greenfield? No.
That's
that's swamp. Yeah, that's swamp water. Yeah. I ain't going over there either. Yeah.
Get some crawfish.
Now, I got stories about sharks and great white sharks and killer whales and orcas and stuff like that. I don't have no stories about gators. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so whenever they hungry. So if you in their territory, you gotta know what you're doing. So, but I'm not putting myself in. I don't even want to find out. Yeah,
Joe Exotic.
Yeah. I'm not. Yeah, I ain't fucking around no gators and no alligators, no crocodiles, none of that. They can have all that. Yeah.
If you could tell, you know, somebody who either is still doing the beat right now that has the opportunity that you had, like, what would you tell? Or even when you were
younger,
like, what would you say
in a situation where they felt like they didn't have a choice but to lean on the streets or go?
Did you ever speak to like guys?
Be smart about it. If you have to be in the streets and you want to use that outlet to make you some quick money and try to get out the streets, don't get caught up in that lifestyle because it's no reward out to it. Like if you want to get your money, save you a few coins or whatever, and get out the streets, have a time frame. Like if you need a good year run, don't turn it into a 3-year run. Like if you say, I only want to do this for 6 months, make sure you stick to that 6 months. Because if you try to go to 8 months, that might be the time where you get bagged
6.5, nigga.
That extra 2 months, that shit could cost you, 10 to 15 years of your life. So you never know. Like, I mean, you got to have a plan. You got to have some type of structure. You got to have some self-discipline, and you got to stick to what you say. So, because I actually did that myself, and it got me jammed up. Yeah, hell yeah. Like I was kind of like, I was young at the time. I was young. Yeah, I was up and down the interstate by myself, doing shit I ain't had no business doing every other weekend on the interstate, going to this city, that city, I hate to say it, but I got caught up in the streets and I seen a car that I wanted. I was like, I'm about to hustle to get that. Like, that shit look good. That shit real sexy. Like, so in the midst of me, I was like, I'm going to take these drugs here and I'm going to take these drugs here and stack my coins up and I'm going to get this car. And in the midst of being in North Carolina, this officer, he got lucky that particular day because he put me away. But when he put me away, I kind of had it in the back of my mind, like, I'll never put myself in this situation again. So I learned from at that point.
You rolled the dice.
I lost. And I think that's why I don't even shoot dice to this day. Not anymore. I don't even like shooting dice. I don't even like shooting dice.
I'm just trying to understand the fucking...
Yeah, I could pass on that. I don't even care to shoot dice right nowadays.
Like process of gambling because you're gambling. I don't give a fuck if
I don't have the luck for
gambling.
it. Yeah, I don't have the
luck
for it.
You're gambling. Most motherfuckers don't.
I don't have the luck for
it. You just
it.
can't stop.
Yeah, I get my head popped every time.
That's
trying
crazy.
to do the right thing or whatever the case may be, or be greedy and make some extra money and stuff like that. Like I go into a casino, I leave my wallet in my car,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
or I take the cash out and leave the
For
cash in the car. Like,
Yep.
or if I'm in a hotel or something, I'll leave my cash in the room. Like I'll take like whatever I'm going to spend on that particular moment, and if I hit
Little shit like that works.
yeah, hell
I
yeah,
swear
dude.
it works.
I know if I got to go back to the room and get some more bread, I ain't coming back down.
Right.
Stay in the room.
Yeah, I just
Yup.
stay in the room. That's my
Message,
cue.
nigga.
Yeah, that's my cue to stay in the room.
Yeah.
There's no need for me. Like tonight's not your night, so you go ahead and stay in here.
Leave it alone.
Leave it alone. Yeah.
Shit.
So
Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
I'm so glad
appreciate it.
you're here.
Still
you ain't
going, though.
nowhere
Mm-hmm.
ever again.
yeah, that's
Look at
all.
her lip.
I mean it.
Yeah,
For real.
yeah.
I've been out by myself out here, so
Yeah.
don't go nowhere no more. Okay.
Like she said, like we're a few months apart, so like. I used to be outside running the streets, and I used to come home, and she'd be sleeping in my bed type shit. So I'm like, yeah, so yeah, I'm outside running the streets. I come home, I'm ready to come home. Like, God damn, you got to scoot over or something, like yo,
why you been gone?
yeah.
What's good? Where you been?
Yeah, I'm outside
my
doing,
only friend.
yeah.
So guess what happened today?
Yeah.
And when I say we fought, like,
yeah.
not each other. Me
Yeah,
and Twan got into several fights.
Always
Like,
been on the same team.
yeah.
Yeah.
he got jumped, I got jumped, but
Yeah.
what like
Yeah,
we
I remember a
fought.
story vividly.
Yeah.
It was some individuals that I had problems with,
Yeah.
and she was out somewhere. I was in the house one particular night. I was in the house, kind of chilling, just relaxing. And she had went out with her homegirls or whatever. But whoever she had went out with that particular night, she didn't really trust them on that type of level. And I was in the house. I don't know what I was doing, playing a game with my baby brother or something like that. We was just kind of in the house chilling. And she called to the house one day. She's like, yo, what you doing? I'm like, nothing, chilling. I'm in the house. She's like, you know them guys that you got that problem with, their cousins, the females, is out here. Hung up the phone. I'm on my way.
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10
I was
minutes.
in
Yeah.
Nevada.
Yeah, she was way out there. Yeah, I'm on my way. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I'm on my way.
Whatever the fuck.
And this is the time before, like, we were still calling the house phone at this time. Like it wasn't no cell phones at this time. This is still house phone era, and
Pull up.
I pulled up immediately. And
So I'm like, hey, yo, I ain't
when
supposed
I
to
get
hit
out
no
there,
girl.
yeah, I got there. We went in there. Everybody's. And this is like the early to mid 2000s. So at this time, they playing crunk music,
Yeah,
and
and
Lil
I-
Jon and the East Side Boys, and it was just that era of music. So everybody's getting crunk, and I'm like, I'm the only guy, and it's all females, but it's my sister too at the same time. So it's like, man, I ain't never hit no female, but tonight,
I
I
peeped up and
yeah, like I
already knew
I
I
don't
was the
condone
type.
hitting no
Yeah.
females, but
Yeah.
you ain't gonna just stand there and put your hands on my sister either. Like I ain't
Got you
gonna wash you up like you a nigga or anything like
I'm gonna
that.
get you off her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
yeah,
what-
yeah,
that's what
yeah,
it is.
yeah.
I'm
That's
about to get you
that's
off
exactly what I did
Jump,
too.
I
Yeah,
roll on
yeah.
the ground, but I just see Twan
Yeah.
from up.
Yeah,
like,
that's
peeking
exactly
out.
what yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yeah,
I didn't have a
yeah.
scratch on my face when I say
Yeah.
I fought. Like we fought, and then I
Yeah.
fought
Yeah,
somebody
that's-
else, and
yeah.
then I just had to keep fighting. And then my people was like, "Memphis, you fighting again?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you need to get."
That's
your
exactly what
woman
it was too. Like
Yeah, we
I'm
got to
pulling
the
one
house.
female off of her.
in. I gotta
And,
fight again.
yeah, she got to fight another one, but it's another one trying to jump in it. So I'm like, man, fuck it.
Just
Pop.
kept fighting.
So like, and then I told my mom about it. She's like, I'm proud of you. Like I'm proud of you, but like I understand why you did what you did. Yeah, like you don't let nobody jump on your sister, whether it's females or whatever. Like
Right.
if they gotta go get their brothers or their
It's not
daddy,
fair.
yeah,
Then it's not
yeah,
fair.
Yeah,
It ain't gonna be fair.
Yeah. Now if we
Yeah,
would have
I
did
had
one on one, like I could have let y'all rock out,
Right.
but y'all starting to try to like
Then it's your
take advantage.
issue.
Yeah,
Like,
it's my issue
I
too
didn't
at the
even
same
have
time.
a problem.
Yeah.
They was like your brother Antoine. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
why?
So
like
the
You
female
know?
cousins of the it was the female cousins of the guys that I had problems with. So it's like their female cousins or sisters
Yeah.
or whatever. So it's like, oh yeah, that's Twan's sister right
Yeah,
there.
so we're gonna
Da, da, da.
mess with
So
her.
yeah, we should get her. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on the way.
she
yeah.
asked me who I was, and then she
Yeah.
went back, and I immediately, I was like, yeah, we finna have to fight. So I just called
Yeah.
Twan. They played "What You Know About That" by T.I. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we finna fight.
Yeah.
What you know about
It was
that? I
crunk
like,
music.
yeah,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
myself. Yeah.
I was like, this
But
shit
it was
crazy.
good times, man. We had good times
Yeah.
fighting. I love to fight. I
Yeah.
love to box. I love it. I got a thrill from fighting.
Certified
For
crazy.
real, I
She,
love fighting.
I'd say she was,
Loved it.
yeah, she was,
Call me.
yeah,
Still
she,
love it.
Yeah.
Therapy.
And I'm gonna hit you first.
Yeah.
Never thought I was gonna get jumped.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting.
For sure.
Me and her big
Yeah.
sister, we caught the girl that jumped me at the bus stop. Taisha like, Memphis, get out and beat her up.
Yeah,
Her
I got
arm
we
was
got
in
an
the
older
sling.
sister too.
Yeah, her
Yeah,
name
yeah,
Taisha.
yeah,
She
yeah.
was
We
like,
got an older
Memphis, no,
sister too.
they
yeah.
jumped you. Who
Oh,
cares if her
fuck.
arm's in the sling? She's
Facts.
screaming at me like,
Yeah.
beat her up.
Yeah,
Facts.
like get your
Alright.
face back.
I'm
Yeah,
about to get my mom.
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Open the car door, close it.
yeah.
I'm gonna
man.
walk home.
Them was good days though.
Yeah.
Those good days, great days. I mean, we was young. That's part of growing up, but those was good days during that time for
Facts.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
It's like-
I still think about those type of days back. You know that we're older now and we all got
The
kids and
best
shit
time.
now. Yeah, we had.
I never,
yeah, we'll never
love to go
forget.
back to living all in one
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
We had the best times.
Then it's like I go to prison and come home like we got kids and shit now.
Right.
Cause like I said, I was already locked up when my daughter was born, so I didn't miss all that. So she's like, damn, you got a daughter now, and I got a son now. It's like, man, we grew up under the same house. Like,
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Have they
so-
met yet?
yeah. We took him to a state
To the
fair.
fair.
Yeah, we took him to the state fair.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Any last words? Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want to say? Anything we didn't touch on?
No, I think we touched on everything. Appreciate y'all having me on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I think it was a good
I think
message.
you're gonna have some more guests too. I think you got more guests too lined
Oh
up.
no! I think this
Yeah.
is gonna be a little series, like
yeah, because you got some more
Redemption.
guys.
I don't know what to call it, but I want to call it something good. Where like,
because I'm not the only one that's come home from prison from doing the wrong thing and
Right.
that's on
and
the
it's
right
not
path.
doing that.
Yeah, it's a couple more guys. They they kind of behind the scenes right now, but
Yeah.
if y'all stay tuned in, like
Right.
you'll get to know them too. So
Yeah.
One of them be
I
tired.
like that.
Yeah.
I feel like this
yeah.
is motivating.
So they
for-
coming around the corner too. So
for sure. This is
If you-
like.
yeah,
Go
you
ahead,
caught on
go
to
ahead.
this story. Like you got some more coming. Like,
Yeah, let us know what you think. If you want us to bring more guests on with their
We're going to
story.
any motherfucking way. I'm
Yeah,
just
but
let
still,
y'all
we
know.
want some feedback
I feel like it's good for the community. I
It
feel like
is.
it's good for our audience.
to
It's
see
good for
guys in a different light. That's can't.
black men
Yes,
specifically.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, because we got this such false narrative on our community.
real.
Like, it's in my sense, I don't find it healthy at all. Like the way black men tear each other down and things like that. Like, yeah, because I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, like I just said, I went and took the commercial diving class and for the underwater welding and stuff. Like, I was the only black man in the class.
Were you shocked?
Shocker. That's what I was like.
Nah, I wasn't actually, but to be truthful, honestly, I was shocked at how much they embraced. Like,
Welcoming.
yeah, they. I can honestly say, like, while I was in that, I was the only black man in the class. Like, none of them made me uncomfortable. None of them withheld information. If I didn't understand something, they helped me and make sure that I got through it and I understand what we was doing. Because there was times that I didn't know what the hell was going on. Like,
That's
and
good.
I can honestly say they like, yo, I got you, yo.
Yeah, there are some. Good
If you want to,
people,
we
man.
can go to the bar after class today, and I'll make sure you get it. Like they actually looked out for me in that class. I can honestly say that. Yeah, they really did.
That's good. There's good and
Yeah, for
bad
real.
people in every
Yeah,
race,
absolutely.
every
Yeah, for sure. That's a
ethnicity,
fact.
So
I'm glad you had a good experience.
Yeah, because like that was my going to college experience. I ain't
For
never been to
real?
college, so I didn't
See, I
graduate
was
high
turned.
school. So
Water.
yeah, so that was my college experience, and I enjoyed it. I did. I really
Good.
did.
Good. Hope everybody received some sort of information from this. Go ahead, like, follow, subscribe, share. Period. And
Yeah, every Friday.
yeah, start a conversation. Talk to your sons. Talk to your uncles. Talk to whoever you feel like you need to talk to about it, because this is a great topic, and I think a lot of people could take something from it. Anything.
Yes.
It can be done. It can be done. Whatever it is that you got your mind set to, or whatever you're trying to achieve, it can be done. At the end of the day, you just gotta put in the work.
You gotta want it for
Have
real.
the self-discipline. You gotta have the self-discipline. But outside of that, it can be done. It can be done.
Don't forget to talk spicier.
Peace.
Bye.
That same energy, teed up everywhere. You remember me? Keep that same energy. Zero fucks for a bitch who ain't a friend of me. So sick, I need a remedy. Fresh out the pack, strap came with